for their honors, and I earned the right to wear my feathers through traditional ceremony through an elder in Sioux Valley, Manitoba, Eva McKay, and that's also my children's grandmother. Helped her with her ceremonies. And then she wears also the long breastplate, which covers her all the way down the front. It was sort of a protection type of I guess gear a long time ago, so that if anything came towards you, it would deflect off of you. And then everything you see, they're covered modestly right up from their neck right down to the dress is long. It's a very modest dress, and then also their legs are covered like with the leggings and the moccasins. That's for our modest way of dressing as women in Indian society, First Nation society.
I started out for fancy. I danced fancy for 3 years, and then I switched over to jingle when I was 8. So I've been dancing jingle ever since.
I dance for all the other people that can't dance. I dance for the creator. I dance for my family, for myself, and everybody watching.
About powwow is people gathering and renewing friendships and just enjoying the time they spend doing what they were gifted and blessed with. That's what powwow is to me.
Well, ever since I was young, I always admired the older ladies with the jingle dress, so I just got into it because I liked it.
And to me, if the young people are here in a spiritual environment, that's what a powwow is. They're not out on the streets, they're not getting into trouble. And they're being, the ones that are dancing at these powwows are role models for the ones that are not dancing, right? And that's my whole family. I'm white, as you can very well see, but my family all dance in powwows. They're all dancers. My wife, my grandchildren, my kids. And I'm very proud to see them here. And as we travel around throughout the summer to the different powwows here in Alberta and in BC, well, it's a good experience to see so many other young people involved. And it's a learning experience for them. They learn things from their elders. They learn about their culture. They learn about their language. They learn respect. And this is what's lacking in the society today, is respect. But the ones that are involved in the powwows, that are truly dancers, who are committed to dance in powwows, they are the ones that are showing respect. Those are the ones that are role models and setting example to the other teenagers, to the other young people.
It's providing you with everything to make your stay here at this beautiful powwow the most wonderful one you've ever had. We have magic Indian duct tape. It's up here if you have a family that's starting to fall apart, or if your wife's now leaving you and you need to patch it all back together. This is magic Indian duct tape to be used.
So we're thinking of using that one as grass for traditional.
Sun brings life to everyone. Here in the powwow grounds, smiles, put smiles on everybody's face. We welcome the sun today.
It was given through the grandfathers, or the spirits, God's angels. Bless the North American indigenous human beings with this ritual. We know it better as the Grass Dance Lodge. And where a young man, where a young person lost his mate, and he was getting into the age of getting to be an adventurer and being proud and being a prominent figure within his own unique circle. When he lost his partner, his wife, He gave up everything. He went into a deep mourning state. And every so often he would climb these hills and go over there and mourn without eating or, drinking. And one day he fell asleep. And it was that time when he started hearing voices, whispers. And that's when these beings started coming to him. He says that what you are doing is you are making yourself suffer. But more than that, the one that passed on, you are making that person suffer more because he cannot enter the next world. The spirit cannot enter the next world. You're holding it back. In order for you to come out of this, we're going to give you a healing ceremony that you will take back to the people, and the peoples will begin to use it. And this is something that you will pass on from generation to generation, starting once you begin. So it was those voices that he heard were all the living, were all the four-legged, all the fowl, everything that grows. The grass that you see is under the grass dance outfits that weaves back and forth is the tall grass. The headdress is the foxtail, the plant. Everything that you see different, the way different a regalia is decorated with all those, in the olden days, of all those parts from different animals and birds and the shells to represent the water beings that are commemorated here. And it's through this dance that the spirit is rebuilt, and to this day it's known as powwow.
On the back here, because of my job, the kind of job that one time I was in Calgary, I was really struggling at that time too with my work. And I came home from Calgary and I went for a fast. And then a bear grabbed me right from here. It was just scratching me like this. And I'm a real curious person, so I put my hand in the back over here, like this. And I grabbed that, and I went like this, and here it was a bear paw. And so I just dropped it, and I started praying like crazy. And it ended up that he said, that's where I protect you from. Any story, anything that happens to you, anything that anybody does to you, I will always protect you on your back. Here. Right here. Every time you're struggling really hard with the situation, and that's where you remember. So that's why I put this design here. I'm not scared of anything. Like I just do anything. Like I'll go ahead and
take a risk.
Yeah, we'll take a risk.
There's some people out there that are deaf. They can see. They see you dancing. It makes them feel good. And there's some that can't see. They hear you singing. They too consume that positive energy. It makes them strong. That's what we're about.
And a lot of the red stuff that I wear is my colors. Those are colors that were given to me. I feel that. And the symbols you see is those are sacred. We don't really talk about them too much. So there's a few things that we restrict ourselves from talking about openly like that. So.
To me, I'm still hanging on to that old way of life when we were named after certain things, animals, trees, stuff like that. We still value those ties we have with it, because we're all Indian people. Just they seem to understand what goes on in this world, like the ground, the sky, everything. You know, like this, especially now in this day and age, a lot of those things are getting depleted, even the air, you know, the ozone and all that, you know. It's too bad the world is going the way it is. And we try to hang on to those values.
Ladies and gentlemen, anywhere you go, the grand entry is the most colorful and spectacular sight that you're ever going to witness in Indian country. This international gathering here in Onion Lake, Saskatchewan, Canada. Let's all rise and pay respect to the Eagle Staff. The Stars and Stripes of the United States of America, the British flag, the Union Jack, the Canadian flag, the Saskatchewan flag, and the Onion Lake colors. Behind the flags we have our fighting men, our warriors, the veterans, along with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and the leadership and the Powwow Committee with the visiting royalty from all nations. Coming into the dancing area at this time, they have every right to don the eagle feather. They are the protectors, they are the providers. They are the modern day warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, the men's traditional dancers. Dance your style, men, dance your style.
The elders play a big role because without their suffering, their sacrifice, their courage to maintain this sort of social gathering, the celebration of life, we wouldn't be here today. We need to understand the importance of the identity, not to ourselves, but to our children, to make this a better place, especially for those that have yet to come. And once we learn how to retain this, then, or maintain this, then we'll have the ability to retain it. And our elders are here, they provide us the direction and the guidance that they receive from their elders, and then as young people, we continue to make this happen in a good way, very positive, healthy ways.
But the hardest part about teaching this medicine wheel is there's truth, honesty, and faith sits right in this wheel. My son lost some feathers. My oldest one lost 4 feathers when I went to Salamanca, New York 2 years ago. In that same year, we lost my dad and my brother-in-law. So I always had this I always got scared if something happened like that. This past summer, my son lost the whole bustle. Jeez. What a scary feeling. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to act. All I can think of is just crying. That's all I can think of. But I remember somebody telling me on one time, saying, when you lose a feather, it's a fallen warrior. That's what I was told. And you know how I am, like my mind, like I believe just about anything you tell me, especially when it takes, a feather. If I drop this and right away I freak out, or I'd freak somebody out for sure. So I freaked out.
Witskin family is going to be honored in this way by our relatives from stateside.
And these are those things that we remind ourselves. It's not just a powwow. It's not just competition money. It's not just competition dancing for... We see each other, we greet each other. As Indian people, we celebrate these beautiful things because this is one of those things that we know best in celebrating our beauty as Indian people.
Dancers that picked up that bustle came up to us and gave me a hug, gave my son a hug, and they said, "You don't stop right here. Just because you lost a bustle, that doesn't mean everything stops." And my uncle, at one time, I heard him say at North Balford powwow, his son lost 4 feathers. No, his fan. He dropped his fan. That fan you carry. He dropped his fan. And he stood there. And he cried and he cried and he cried. And then when they finished that whole process of picking up that fan, he picked up the mic. He said, "My son didn't do nothing wrong." He said, "My son honored everybody in here, everything in here. All the drums, all the spectators, all the dancers. He honored everybody." Because, why I'm saying this, I want you guys all to think, to remember, an eagle drops his fan or his feather to honor you, so you can survive, so you can have protection. And that's the same manner what my son, he's the eagle. And that's what he honored you. My uncle, he's from Wichigan, eh? He was drinking. And this is, boy, he was so happy to see me, and he was half cut. And he came right up to me, and he gave me a full pack of cigarettes. And he said, "Come to my sweat tomorrow." And I went like this. I just stared at him. I never said nothing, and I walked out. I didn't even look, trying to see anybody else. I just walked out because this guy surprised me. As soon as I walked in, and he just came running to me with a pack of smokes in his hand. And as soon as I got in my truck, I ain't going to his sweat. Not in a million years. Look at what he's drunk, and he comes and gives me tobacco for a sweat. So, anyway, I got home and never said nothing. I didn't tell my wife or didn't say nothing to anybody. I just, held it to myself. That's the way I am too, eh? When something's not right, I'll just keep it to myself. About next morning, I was just getting up, and I got up early. I was sitting around doing nothing. My dad comes around about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, honks the horn. And he said, "Come here," he said. "Come on out. Come on, get ready. We're going to go do a sweat." "I don't want to go do a sweat," I said. And he said, "Come on." And I said, "Okay." Went and got all my stuff, got the print, my towel, and away I went. And where did we go? We ended up to this place, that guy that gave me the cigarettes. That's where we ended up. Jeez, boy, I was pissed off. I was really disappointed, eh? I made up my mind. I wasn't going to go in the sweat. I'm not going to go and sit with alcoholics or drunks. And because the place I was working was, and again, this is it's another bet, I believed if you're going to run a sweat, you got to be sober. That's what I believed. Well, it probably is, but I don't know. But anyway, I didn't really want to go in the sweat because I know this guy was drunk last night. And I seen him. Matter of fact, he gave me cigarettes to come to the sweat. So I'm not going to go in the sweat. That's what I told my dad. I'm going here. I'm not going to go in the sweat. So I got out and I started walking towards. There's a little bluff, a bush. I walked towards it, and somebody right beside me said, "Who do you think you are?" But in the Cree, I know my Tagimuin. And I looked around. And so I looked in the bush over there. And it's got to be somebody over there. So I walked towards it. As soon as I got to the bush, and again, same thing. Who do you think you are? So I looked in the bush, all over the bush, see if there's somebody hiding there. Nobody, eh? Oh, I just started feeling this, all of a sudden I just feel this really weird feeling, and seems my hair is just starting to stand up. Turned around really fast, walked back a little fast, and I didn't even get to the car, and again, "Hoy na mago may Tagimuin. Who do you think you are?" A little louder. Oh, looked around, I stopped, and I turned the complete circle, and I looked around. Nobody. Jeez, I was freaking out now. So I ran fast to the car, and I jumped in and locked all the doors. I was sitting in the car.